Okay, wow, just like that, I'm back with another portable Clint. Guys, let me tell you something. In Hollywood, along the way, you'll meet a couple of angels. And this guy is an angel in my book. I'm not kidding you. He makes me look good, or tries to make me look good. Reece Rios, get in here, dude. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, buddy, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm an angel.
You are, dude, because just like I say, man, it's nice when I go to an audition and you're running camera, dude, I am relieved when I see it's you.
Well, that's nice of you to
Because,
say.
dude, you take every audition and you treat it like it's the first audition of the day. I just never seen you go, all right, come on, let's go, get in here.
Not out loud, but yeah.
Okay, well, hey, dude, that's great.
But yeah, that's the objective.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about Reece Rios. Here's what's cool about him. He's a cameraman. He runs sessions, but that's little. He's got a very nice, gigantic commercial career. Commercial actor. I'm not calling you a commercial actor.
No.
But a commercial career. Well, a commercial career, very successful at that. And theatrical credits, dude, on IMDb, they look absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, enough about you.
Yeah, right. Let's talk about you.
Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about me. No, I'm kidding.
I want to know.
Reece,
Sir.
when did you drive into the Hollywood Boulevard? When did you drive into Hollywood?
You mean, when did I move?
Yes, when did you move here? I was trying to say something different, but I lost
Okay,
myself.
you've heard my descriptions. I take a long, windy road.
Well, that's fine.
So
That's fine.
I get it. I actually was born here, but raised in Texas.
Right.
So,
what
that's
part
where
of Texas? Just because I'm from Texas and I got to get that out of the way.
Houston, Texas.
Okay.
So we've shared some stories.
Yeah, we
moments,
have.
But,
we have.
And I started my career not long after college, based in Texas, a regional market. And then I thought it would be great for a while, and it ended up being over 10 years. And so I moved back here in 2009. So 10 years.
Okay.
It's been 10 years since I moved back.
So 2009 is when you started your career out here.
Here, well, yeah, I brought everything out from Dallas, Texas, is where I was based, because that's kind of the hub of that regional market.
Sure.
And then brought it out here.
Okay, what's the first thing you do when you got out here?
Oh heavens! I mean, I hustled. So I had my representatives situated, my theatrical representatives situated back in Texas that were going to help kind of bridge me over. But commercially, I knew, or at least I assumed, that was going to be my way through this world in terms of sustaining a career. So I signed with an agent shortly after upon arriving.
Who?
I started with Osbrink, actually.
Okay.
Osbrink, and dynamite, ladies. But it wasn't a love connection.
Okay.
It didn't
Okay.
really yield results that I felt I needed to justify that move, because things were really good in Dallas for me, based out of Texas. You know, the smaller.
Did you say
town.
Dallas, based out of Texas?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what that means.
So Dallas is a city based out of Texas. Some would also just say Dallas, Texas.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, I moved here, and I just kind of felt the stakes were pretty high to leave a situation in which I was comfortable to come here. And after about a year with Osbrink, I interfaced with a gal named Rachel at SPV. She was my love connection, and I've been with her since.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you booked?
Okay, so the first thing I booked was Carl's Jr. with Spot Casting.
Really?
With Matt, yeah.
Okay.
And so,
it was Matt?
Yeah, it was Matt. Matt was the first one that, because I was being in Texas, which is a right to work state, you won't eat if you are in the union. So as soon as I came out here, I joined, and that was the first job I booked.
I love Matt.
He's pretty great. I mean, he's a really wonderful man.
He really
Generous.
is. Yeah, very generous.
Very generous. By giving me that job.
Okay.
To be,
So you booked that job with him. Does he remember you for other? I mean, obviously, I know he remembers you now, but at that time, did he keep bringing you back in from the get-go?
I had well, Jacob at Spot Casting, who's a dear friend of mine.
Sure.
He
Great guy.
Wonderful guy. So Matt ended up working with me a couple of other times. It was also the first time that I was ever fired from a job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a job that Matt gave me. It was sort of sight unseen. I couldn't make the call back, and he did it out of the kindness of his giant heart.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, I also had, I'm still hyper insecure, but I had even more insecurities back then. And I was garbage, to be honest with you. And so I know why, and I play that back in my head. But ultimately on set, shortly after makeup, there was a situation where the producer came in and said, yeah, we're going to swap you out. And I knew why. Well,
first of all, you're not garbage. I mean, you can say that, and I know you don't really think that.
Well, no, I do. In that situation, all of the ingredients, them being, I didn't make a callback, so I was very much sight unseen, and I came to set just not knowing what the hell I was going to do.
Were you insecure because you thought, man, they don't know what I could do at the callback? If you were at the callback and you had been booked, would that have helped you show up better?
Well, maybe just because I would have, as soon as I showed up and my mouth opened and a syllable fell out, I just became very self-aware and self-conscious that they're like, hey man, okay, yeah, we hate him, he sucks. And so I let that snowball, and I didn't play, I didn't do what I do best or love to do. And I sort of approach it, I try to be a result-oriented actor.
Right, yeah.
It's just like, let me think, I did probably want this. Which it was catastrophic. Matt was very wonderful and genteel about it, but that's a very that was one of those cataclysmic events that I think helped shape me.
Okay, how long? Yeah, it makes total sense. How long did that stick with? Yeah. No, you're good. How long did that stick with you? How long did you get in your head after that?
If I'm being fully transparent, it still does.
Yeah.
With Matt, I love the guy. He is a wonderful man, but I still to this day, if ever I'm in front of him for any, that's like a little poisonous seed.
Yep.
For whatever reason, I don't care in front of anybody else. I don't care, and I just feel good about everything. In front of Matt, I think I've always, you know what it is? It was I disappointed you and I let you down, and you gave me a job that I didn't even read for, and I fucked it up.
Yep. Yeah, you just did. That's
but
good.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I will always feel like, I disappointed you, or I let you down, and so that still lives with me today. And it's not in such a way that it precludes me from doing what everything else has worked out. But
and he doesn't even think about it at all.
Probably not.
Probably not. I guarantee you, not one bit.
No, probably not. But I respect and admire the man so much, and it also was through Jacob that I was. That I think I carry it around a little bit, and it is what it is.
Okay, so you do that job.
Sure.
What's next?
Then 2012 came around and I started working. I booked a Trident campaign, which was my first campaign out here, and that was through another office. And then
who was the director on that one? Who started the director?
So the director?
Yeah, the very first. Yeah.
That was. Jason Zada.
Okay. Anyway,
he was a really lovely man. I know he directed The Forest.
Okay.
And then it persisted with some other directors.
Sure.
And then 2013 is when things really started rolling, and I had a really nice year, commercially speaking.
Okay, hang on. I want to get into that.
Okay.
Tell me when you said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to be a camera guy."
Yeah.
Tell me, what year was that? First of all.
So I actually started running sessions, running camera, right at the end of 2010.
Okay.
So I was already kind of doing both things concurrently, and I did that. When I moved over, I had the good fortune of I was hosting this travel show for American Airlines where we would go shoot some wonderful locations around the world.
Yeah.
And we did that for 5 years, and that was a lovely bridge, sort of hey, way to make that move pretty seamless.
Yeah.
And when that expired, that's when I started working here, so it was a really lovely handoff. And in the midst of all that, I started running camera because I get bored.
Okay, before you get bored, but how did you think to be a camera guy.
So I didn't think about it at all. Actually, my cousin, Alex, worked at the studio, and I think I probably told him how bored I was. He was like, hey man, I think you'd be really good at directing these commercial sessions. And I was like, okay, what do you do? And I was like, I don't know, you talk to actors and tell them what to do. So I didn't know shit about it. I didn't know it was even a job. He just kind of talked about it to me, and then he introduced me to some casting directors.
Who was your
Mick
first?
and Roman.
Okay.
Gal Roman Casting. Very good friends. Lovely. And it's one of those things that here's how you work equipment, easy. Now how do you talk to people and get out of them in a very succinct amount of time what the director needs to see in 30 seconds or less to merit whether or not they get called back.
Right.
And so, I don't know, to me I was like, okay, well that's not too hard. You just tell them what you want and they do it for you. And so I did that, and I really loved it, especially when I first started. Not saying I don't now.
Right.
But I really loved it because it was a wonderful way for me to meet a lot of new people, having just moved back. And it was, I don't know, it started, in its own weird way, it started making me feel comfortable in the room, and then just talking, interfacing with actors. And I realized early on I was talking to actors, giving them direction in terms of what I needed to see. And these people I were talking to were really high-profile people that you and I know today that worked all the time. And I'd sit there going, okay, dummy, so now you got to tell these pros how to do it.
Right.
And do it well, and then when they do it well, you still have to go, hey, pretty good. Maybe we can just do it. You know what I mean? Like, So I found myself like in a position that I was not too familiar with, which was, you're gonna have to learn how to communicate, be assertive, be confident, and I think it requires personality, and that's been the biggest thing for me. I was like to engage these people and not just be like, walk here, take a bite, feel sad about it. I felt like the only way for me to get out of that job alive was to inject personality into it and try to make the room friendly.
Well, we should do that in every job we have. We should. I'm going to ask you, I don't want to say it's a stupid question, but it's pretty stupid.
No.
Has this made you a better actor running camera?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Right?
Of course. I'd be full of shit if I said no.
I know.
And it's the number one question I get.
I know it is, but that's the reason why I'm asking it, so maybe they'll quit asking you and they'll hear it here.
Look, I don't mind because I teach now as well, and it's from the perspective of like, look, I work in front and behind camera. And the number one question is, it's not even a question, it's always posed as a statement, sort of this passive statement when you see me. It's like, so I bet you learn a lot, right? And like, I do, but the number one thing I've learned is what not to do. That's the thing. That's what I really take away. Some people think, so you see like the best actors, and so you probably learn from them. I'm like, well, I see what they do, but if I tried to replicate or emulate, I couldn't read more inauthentic. I think it would be terrible. I can't do what they can do, and they can't do what I can do. So it's important for me to trust and have fun that I do what I do, and hopefully it's good enough.
Reece, what are the top?
It
does. What are the top things that I shouldn't do in an audition? Not me personally, because I can't handle that right now. Just tell them.
Oh man, top things you shouldn't do in an audition. Be a dick. All right, let's just start
People
there.
are still doing that, right?
I am on a crusade to and anyone that's come in for me a billion times, and that's a lot of people know that. Like I try to keep it light. I think the idea is the room needs to feel safe, and it needs to be fun. So what I mean by be a dick is, I don't know, be irreverent towards the whole thing. Showing up 2 hours without so much as a notification, just showing up with entitlement like so many have before. That just brings shit energy into the room. What shouldn't you do? The big things are at a callback. What shouldn't you do? I think you shouldn't come in with a bag full of bits and treat it like a vaudeville show because you think, hey, this panel of people, they're gonna here's the problem though, Clint. It's not. I tell my students, like, it's not a level playing field, and nothing's universal. So when I say, hey, don't come in and engage the director like your best buddies because you think that 30 seconds of rapport is going to translate to like, I really like that guy. We should hang out. I know a way to hang out. Book him. Let's get him on set. We'll be best friends, and then we're going to whatever. But every so often, there's a director that enjoys that sort of engagement. So every time I give that bit of advice, it's always like, I'm going to err on the side of majority. And from that viewpoint, I'm like, yeah, man, I think you come in, you say your name, you do your job to the best of your ability, and you try to be representative of everything they've asked of you. And then with confidence, you say, have a great day, and walk out. And I don't mean physically.
No, I hear you.
Just walk out. There's a lot more power in that than the sort of, all right, so great, thank you. Hey, this is a really fun script. Whoever gets it, this is going to be really funny. Great, who wrote this? You wrote this? But I see it all the time, and I sit there and my butt just puckers, and I'm like, go out, walk away. But it's not universal. Some people really appreciate that engagement. Some clients do. So, I don't know. For me, for what I've learned is I go in, my name, what do you want from me? Here's the best I can do with that bit of information. You want an adjustment? Here's the best I can do with that information. You're good, you're done, thank you, have a great day, bye. That's it. I know it sounds stupid and simple.
Dude, leave them wanting more has always been my rule.
Yes, and like there is so much power in that. You see and hear the clients go, you see outside? That is a really interesting. I mean, I don't know. I think having a little mystery is neat.
Yeah.
I feel. So that's it. It's not terribly complicated, but like a lot of times actors will like anything performance-wise you give. Any advice you give performance-wise, and I'd be like, no, man, go in and don't be that result-oriented actor. Don't do what you think they want you to interpret what they tell you to the best of your ability, and just fucking play it.
Okay.
And be loose with it as much as possible, and I don't know, feel good about yourself. I know that sounds pretty hyperbolic and cliche, but it's true, man.
Let me ask you this question. No, dude, I love it. This is why I do it. This is the reason why I have you in here, dude. Listen, I asked you the question of, does you running camera make you a better actor? I mean, make you a better actor. How about the other way around?
Does it make me worse?
You being a good actor, which you are because you book, does it make you a better session runner?
Interesting question. Maybe. I don't know. Because I'm like, I think for me when I'm running a session, we get the treatment. Yeah. And the directors lay out with crystal clarity, hey, here's what we'd like to see. So it's my job to interpret that, and then I have to take that interpretation in my mind and then translate that to words, and then hope that those words resonate with you, and it goes, yeah, I get it. So does it make me a better actor? Maybe, because I think good acting is sometimes nothing more than really good listening.
Yeah.
Really, just sometimes I think that's it. So I think being a good listener and hearing directors, because I really do pride myself on being a good listener. I try to be anyway. So when I hear them,
it all goes back to that listening.
What resonates with me, and then, for example, I'll try something, let's say, to explain something a certain way for the first few groups. If consistently they're coming in and it's just beautiful by take one and take two, then I'm like, okay, this is working. Whatever these words I'm using, it's resonating, it's making sense, at least for them to travel a long way in a short amount of time. If I see the first 3 or 4 groups struggle with my notes, I don't go, what's wrong with you? I say, what's wrong is with what I'm saying. So then I have to adjust that. I have to tweak it if it's not landing, because I can't, even though I talk a lot, I still don't talk as much as I'd like to. But so do I think it helps me better? Yeah, I do, because I think if I'm doing well on the acting side, it means I'm listening well. If I'm listening well, then I know how to convey, and if I can convey well, then that's really the job. I'm talking a lot like this.
Reece.
Like a bird indoors. Sorry.
Reece, let me ask you this.
Anything.
Okay. Oh, Reece, you're cracking me up. Okay, listen. So, I asked David the same question.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Have you ever ran your own session that you booked?
Yep.
Often, medium, slow. I mean, how often does that happen? And by the way, it's fair because, dude, you have to audition just like us. It's not like anybody.
I appreciate you saying that. I know, I don't know how many people think that's their. I'm sure there might be something that was like, well, yeah, of course, but couldn't be further from the truth. I would say for as many times as I've gotten work, I've lost some because it's a funny thing. I right now. So here comes a long explanation.
Oh boy.
So
no good.
So how often? Well, it hasn't happened in a while, and I'll tell you why. I try not to run callbacks for which I've auditioned. I try not to run those sessions as much. Sometimes there's no helping it, but I try not to because I try to separate in the view of the client and the director. Reece, the actor, Reece, the session director, because sometimes they can. And for as many times as I've been running a callback, and they've been going through it, and they're not happy, and they'll watch me direct the people in the room, and then ultimately they'll say, "Hey, do you want to jump in on this?" The client and the director. Now that hasn't happened in a while because, like I said, I try to separate, and things that I'm not right for, those are the jobs I'm trying to run. But when I was doing it, it happened probably a good half dozen times
really?
In a 5-year span. I would say, yeah. But for every one of those, there's the notion that, like, if they see me as a session director first and then I audition and they call me back, I don't know. This could be just complete paranoia, but I've talked to other people that direct sessions, and they tend to agree that there's this sort of vibe of like, oh, so you do a little acting on the side too, and it's like, yeah, because I conquered the dream of running sessions, so I figured I'd fuck around on the other side.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So, and I feel I don't know if it's a wash in the end, but I do feel that's happened enough to where I'm like, that was kind of the impetus for me saying, you know what, if I can avoid it, I'd rather not direct or work callbacks for auditions that I have.
Okay, last question on this.
Yeah.
Do they talk about you in front of you? Like, oh yeah, you were good. Like, because they talk about us when we leave the room.
Can't get out of the room fast enough. Oh, you mean like, right after I audition?
Yeah,
or in the review
right after you audition. If you're running the session and you go, all right, like Dave said, he went around and came in like a regular actor.
Sure.
Do you do that?
I step out and I step in, and it's always who's this guy? And I will tell you this, they tend to be very sweet about it and very cool, and we keep it light. And I try to play that, but that's you're now putting me when I'm at my most insecure.
Okay.
Because Reece, the person, doesn't. Probably why I enjoy doing the other stuff is because I don't want to be Reece the person, so I have to separate those two. But in front of them, they can't. So I'm like, hey, I'm Reece the person with whom you're very comfortable, but Reece the actor is insecure right now because because I know you see me as Reece the person. So I go out, I come in, I'll do it, and I'll get notes. And I mean, I would say in that format, my success rate is not that high for getting those jobs. It usually comes at the end of like, we didn't really find anyone. What about you? And maybe it's just a give up. I don't know. But in those situations when I have a formal callback, I go in, I do it, I leave, I come back, and it's like, well, who's this guy again? And I'm like, But ultimately, I'm sitting there just like, ugh. It's not a feeling I enjoy. And when it comes to reviewing, and if I am under consideration, I can't get out of the room fast enough. I can't imagine it's comfortable for them. I want them to have the right to say, no, he was terrible, or we hate him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to kind of side-eye me. I was like, yeah, he was really good. So it's not a very comfortable situation. I avoid it at all costs, if that makes sense.
Okay, Reece, what's the dream for you? What's the dream for you? Why did you originally move out here? Why did you originally move out here, and why are you still out here?
Because I want to do what Gary Oldman does.
Okay.
I saw him. I mean, for me was I saw him in Sid and Nancy.
Yeah. Yes.
And he was great.
That was one of his very first major ones that I knew of him.
And I think that's the first time I saw him because I think of the Sex Pistols. I went through a really lame, shallow punk. So I saw it and I was like, oh wow, he was really great. And then I saw several years later, I saw him play Drexel Spivey in True Romance. And
he was great in that.
It took me a moment, but when I put it together, I was like, that's the same guy? Shit, I want to do that. So if there's an underlying motivator that's always kind of been there, it's to be in other people's skin. What's my ultimate goal? To do that in whatever capacity I'm allowed to perform, whether it's commercials, film, or TV. Sustainable career. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Which is why I teach and do the other things, because I don't know if anyone knows what that means. But I know that I'm happiest when I am someone else.
How many campaigns have you had since you've been out here?
Campaigns? Or
Yeah, campaigns. Like right now, you're currently on a campaign.
Yep.
For, tell me the product name,
USAA.
Okay. Right now I'm seeing you're running out, you're wearing a race car.
Wearing a race car suit, yeah. And that one's been fun. We've shot a handful of those. That's the first one they've rolled out, we'll see.
Okay.
But that one has been a lot of fun. It's with a director that I've had the privilege of working with before. And then I did a Trident that, again, this was about 7 years ago. I think we got 3 out the door. And technically, that might be it. I can't think of...
Okay, but you've done a lot of commercials. Do you know your number?
Yeah. Roughly.
You want to share?
Counting Texas and all the way through?
If you want to count Texas all the way through, do it.
If I'm counting Nash, 120 something.
Look at you, dude.
But I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to say other than thanks.
Well, no, you.
I
hey,
don't take it for granted.
No, you can't because.
Somewhere around there.
But again, I said this from the get-go, dude. You're an angel. Just like I told Dave, there's certain people. When you walk into a room, you always see who's running session. And dude, when I see it's you, I know I'm more relaxed. I'm more excited about it. Like you really are an actor's camera guy.
I appreciate that.
Because you're an actor.
I really
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
no, that's good. That's good. So, is there anything you want to tell? As I asked Dave this question.
Yeah.
What do you tell a guy like me at 50 years old? I'm not 50 yet.
Not 50.
I'm 49, about to turn 50.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Thank you. What do you tell a guy like me who has seen the commercial world totally flipped?
Yeah.
What do you tell a guy like me?
In response to what, though?
I don't know. That's I'm asking the question. I'm like, well, what am I actually asking?
Yeah.
I guess advice, because I see a lot of guys my age struggling right now.
Yeah.
And we're all trying to make sense of it all.
And we're scared.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what do you have for us? Anything that we could take to the bank in cash?
Oosh. There's a reason you worked as much as you have. Look, if I'm talking to you specifically, I'm saying you have a level of authenticity that is impossible to replicate. So for Clint Hope, or as you say, Clint Hope, you know what you're doing too, don't you? For Clint, I'm like, you're not going to do anything different. Now the pendulum swings back and forth, and right now it's in a place that doesn't make us feel very good.
Right.
I'm grateful for the campaign I have because it's been apart from that. There's nothing really going on commercially. So for the other guys, and there's guys that immediately pop into my head, and I won't call them out by name. I hope you know who you are, because I think most of the people that I do have the privilege of seeing or putting on camera, are immensely talented. And there are people that have told me about, they always come up in a very sort of partially hat in hand. I was like, is it really slow right now? And I know what that means. And I was like, because I'm not working like I just am scared and got mortgages, and I get all of that. And I'm like, well, it's a shit time right now, and hopefully, and then we'll see a little bit of a correction based on some of the movements that are taking place right now. And I'm like, there's no problem. Here's the thing. This industry never promised us anything, And Dave says this.
That.
Dave, and I carry this with me. I was like, we chose it didn't choose us. So if the pendulum is swung to that place right now that makes you scared, all I can say is, when it was on the other side, there was the reason you worked consistently. It's because people liked you, because you're talented, you're good at what you do. And I've always been a firm believer, and I tell this to my students too, that this town is pretty good about telling you when it needs you and when it doesn't. And that's why I think it's important to really, that's why I run sessions, that's why I teach, because I'm like, it's when it doesn't need me, I need to be occupied doing some other things. I need some other artistic endeavors. I take ballet, for Christ's sake.
Good for you, man.
Hurt my back, arabesque. But point is that like
who hasn't hurt their back arabesque?
Yeah, you get it, right?
yeah.
But like so the pendulum. There's no promise that it will swing back, but I believe it will, and I think the town will say, "Hey, you know what? We do need you now."
Right.
And,
no, I've seen it. I've seen them,
and we've, so I know these are just words, but I'm living proof, and I've witnessed it in many others, and I think if you feel that the pendulum is over here, it will swing back. But what I don't like it is when these talented people change the veneer or make drastic changes when it had nothing to do with that. When it has everything to do with, right now we're just not du jour. We're not,
right. That's a good piece of advice right there. Don't go changing to try to please them.
Yeah.
Right?
No, Billy Joel, don't go.
Yeah.
But don't, because like I think I've had some candid discussions with some of those actors where I'm like, man, just what makes you super cool and interesting, don't put that on the shelf. Just wait for the town to say, hey, we need this person again. You know who you are.
Do a lot of actors come up to you like this and talk to you about that?
And it doesn't bother me in the least bit, because, hey man, if I'm in a place where I can give the gift of information that kind of helps diffuse some of those anxieties or concerns, or especially the long-term ones, and is it overwhelming? I'm happy to do it. So don't take this as leave me alone. I'll continue to say the same thing over and over because I really believe it. And for me, when the pendulum swings, I don't know how long before it comes back. It could be years.
Yeah.
And there's no promise it'll ever return. But you can either panic and make some drastic change, or you can just trust that there's a reason you worked as much as you did and hope that.
And be productive while waiting.
Yeah. And some of us are transitioning into another category too.
Yeah.
And sometimes that puts us in a weird tween stage, right?
Yeah. You're right about that.
So,
Reece, is there anything else you could tell us before we close this down? I mean, you said enough, so don't worry about having to come up with something.
Who's going to make it to 32 minutes and 13 seconds at this point?
Don't trust me. There's a guy out there.
Oh man, look, I'm apart from everything else I've just said, not much other than if you do have anything you ever want to ask, or if you ever had any questions about, what goes on in the room that you feel might help your cause, or at least your mindset. Because I think that's one thing I've noticed is sometimes the arbitrary reasons in which people don't get jobs, when I share that information and even some examples, that tends to put some people's mind at ease, because it usually is like, what am I doing or what am I not doing? I'm like, you're doing great. You just reminded one of the clients of an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And I'm happy to share that kind of information, because you can kind of see that, oh, okay, so I'm not garbage anymore.
Right, yeah.
So that's all I would say is just, you can hit me up.
That's nice of you, Reece. See, and look, I mean, seriously, this is the reason why I love you, Reece, because you just said that, because it's always been open with you. And you're awesome. That's all I'm going to say.
That's
Reece,
all I was going to say.
do me a favor.
Yeah.
Tell everybody goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.